My talk today is called One Raindrop Raises the Sea. I was a middle school reading teacher for many years. As a matter of fact, my other master's degree is in secondary education as a reading specialist. Adolescent literature is my jam. I could find the book that would spark a young person's interest and get them into reading for life. I was especially good at finding reading material for those kids who were always goofing off and full of energy, specifically energy that expressed itself in creating total classroom havoc, but in really creative ways. There are a couple of books that I had tucked away, and depending on their interests, I would recommend. One of my favorites is Dinotopia by James Gurney. And yes, there was a movie based on the book and a miniseries based on the book, but people, the book is always better. In this fantasy book, you find yourself in a land where humans and dinosaurs coexist with a rich culture. This is a fantastical story involving a mystery to find something that has been lost, and it's an adventure, but most importantly, it is a utopia. Now, what is the difference between utopia and dystopia? Utopia means we believe there is a power in the universe leading us higher and higher vibrations of society and bringing good to all people. It is when we imagine a society with citizens that are living harmoniously and peacefully with great diversity. In a utopia, individual skills and talents are praised, especially if they are used to benefit the whole. What is another utopia? Star Trek. Way back in the 1960s, Gene Roddenberry imagined a future society in which we manage not to blow ourselves up or ruin the planet in World War III, in which we reach new heights in technology for space exploration, and all peoples were living peacefully, appreciating diversity. Utopia. But a dystopia is a future in which all the darkness within humanity and society has gotten the upper hand. In these stories, there is great injustice and imbalance in society. They are usually filled with violence, hate, fear, distrust, and isolationism. Examples of these societies can be found in books like The Hunger Games or The Handmaid's Tale. These stories depict seriously messed up society that does not appreciate or value all people. Dystopias are any book or TV show about zombies. Even the TV show Squid Games had a darkness and a depression. There was an imbalance of power where the deck is stacked against the hero or the anti-hero. In a dystopia, the imaginary society values all the wrong things, and those in power have lost sight of anyone except themselves. It bothers me that even Disney is into the business of elevating traditional villains of their animated cartoons. The elevation of villainy is almost to say that being good is, well, boring. Writers, directors, and actors don't find stories of the good intriguing, dramatic, or interesting. It is as if the decision makers had decided that villains, those on the side of hate or hurt or violence, that's where the money's to be made. Simone Weil, a French philosopher, mystic, and political activist, observed this: imaginary evil is romantic, varied. Real evil is gloomy, monotonous, barren, boring. Imaginary good is boring, but real good is always new, marvelous, and intoxicating. Anytime we elevate the negative, it brings our vibration down and stalls spiritual advancement, not just for the individual, but for all of us. In the story of Dinotopia, the utopia is created by the code of Dinotopia. And the code is just another way of saying their principles for living. And here is the code of Dinotopia. Number 1, survival of all or none. Number 2, one raindrop raises the sea. Number 3, we are just going to skip right over so as not to cause a riot here in Arizona. Number 4, give more, take less. Number 5, others first, self last. Number 6, observe, listen, and learn. Number 7, do one thing at a time. Number 8, sing every day. Number 9, exercise imagination. Number 10, eat to live, don't live to eat. And number 11, the last one is lost. There is the adventure and the mystery to solve. One of the characters in the book speculates that the last code is don't pee in the pool. He is not correct. The first 2 statements in the Code of Dinotopia are these: survival of all or none, and one raindrop raises the sea. What a concept to base a society on. Each person has a contribution to make, and each contribution is equally valued because each one is necessary for the betterment of the whole society. But not only do we express our unique gift or talent, but by doing so together, the whole society and culture can continue to move forward and grow. It continues to elevate the best in all of us. The vibration moves up. If we express that as a spiritual principle, it would mean that each individual is important as a raindrop in the sea of spiritual oneness and enlightenment. Codes 4, 5, and 6 give good example of how folks can cooperate, learn the most about each other, as well as bring out the best in each other. Give more, take less. A good way to protect our natural resources. I remember on my Girl Scout trip outings that the last thing we would always do is have every girl pick up 10 pieces of litter and throw it away. I do notice a couple of my neighbors who seem to do that every time they take a walk. Others first, self last. As a way to show kindness, civility, equality, and support, this is not bad advice. But be wary of going overboard and always putting your needs last. Or you keep putting others ahead of yourself because you think you're not worthy of going first. Observe, listen, and learn. What if our first response was to observe, non-judgmentally and dispassionately? It would give us the space to listen to each other, to learn from each other, and take the best ideas to grow a strong community. 7 through 11 are for the individual to cultivate the spirit of Dinotopia. Do one thing at a time. Great advice, especially now that science has proved multitasking is a myth. The brain simply picks up and lets go of different threads. Ever notice that if you're watching TV and talking on the phone, that either you lose the thread of your phone conversation or you lose the plot of the show? Do one thing at a time. Sing every day. This would be fantastic. I don't care what kind of music you sing it because it makes you feel good or powerful or alive. I noticed that even those who can't carry a tune in the bucket, like my mother, love to sing. She sings loudly, off-key, well, sometimes in several keys at once, and with her whole heart filled with joy. She says, I make a joyful noise. And it is noise sometimes. Exercise imagination. This is how all advancements are made, from ergonomic can openers to the power sources to propel rockets. Imagination is fueled from the unlimited divine source. Eat to live, don't live to eat. Whether it is eating your feelings or eating because you can't stop, this part of the code helps to remind us to share our resources and use them appropriately. But that final code, the mysterious missing one, was the important one. That part of the code was broken off in some sort of historical accident from the tablet. It seemed like this last code might be the secret to reinforce each person's responsibility to share spirit, elevate vibration, and know the best of yourself and others. So spoiler alert, I'm giving you code number 11. Here it comes, there it is. Don't put out the light. Light can mean so many things: enlightenment, separation from darkness, illumination, God's Spirit. Jesus had a little something to say about this as well. This is from a version of the Bible called The Message. It is a modern-day paraphrase, and it helps me to hear familiar biblical passages in new ways to get a new understanding. In the book of Matthew, Jesus is teaching, and he says, here's another way to put it. You're here to be light, bringing out the God colors in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as the city on the hill. If I make you light bearers, you don't think I'm going to hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. Now that I've put you there on a hilltop, on a light stand, shine. Shine. Wow. We are God colors in the world, light bearers, and our job is to shine. Put it in Unity speak of Charles Fillmore, do what is yours to do. We've done this before, but it was a few years ago, and circumstances have certainly changed. I want you to think about what is yours to do. By that I mean, what do you do well, and when you give that service or do that thing, it uplifts others in spirit. It shows off the God colors of the world. It is what you bring as a light bearer. What do you think is your spiritual shining power or God color given to you by the divine to show others as a divine light bearer? I hope when I ask those questions, you are filled with spiritual shine powers. Things like you're a good listener. You have the ability to guide others out of emotional turmoil. You're generous and enjoy giving. You say prayers that have the power to move mountains. You have the gift of hospitality and making folks feel welcome. You're willing to be vulnerable so others can share their deepest need and desire. You are kind in a world that is so often hostile. Your singing or playing of an instrument brings pure joy to all who hear. You're a healer. You're able to make difficult concepts understandable. Or you can organize group activities. You love to help, assist. You are the best worker bee around. You make people laugh. You're a nurturing presence to all who come in contact with you. I'm sort of running out of ideas here, but you get the idea. We all have that thing that is ours, that is our way to shine. Remember, we all have it. Sharing or shining is the way our one raindrop raises the whole sea, the spiritual vibration of humanity. Now, you may be filled to the brim with all sorts of talents, but I want you to concentrate on the one you believe is your spiritual light-bearing power, that thing that is yours to do, that when you express this, you lift up the spirit in the world. You elevate the total vibration as a light bearer. Do you have one spiritual shining power in mind? Now I want you to turn to your neighbor, that person who is in front of you, beside you, behind you, and let them know what is yours to do. What is your God color? Talk. All right. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. Yes, I was a teacher for many years. How did that feel? Did you let some light, some spiritual magnificence out a bit? Are you feeling more empowered? In the book of Matthew, Jesus said, "You are the salt of the earth. But if salt has lost its taste, how can its saltiness be restored? It is no longer good for anything, but is thrown out and trampled underfoot. Saltiness is a metaphor for being spiritually connected to the divine. Saltiness refers to the way spirit is alive and flowing within you to be one with the flow of the one. Let's face it, today it's easy to lose your way in all the divisive feelings, negative talk, and unkindness. But as those who are intended to shine, we got to keep our saltiness. We need to seek out opportunities to connect with our divine spirit within. So be honest with yourself. What's your current level of saltiness? Are we up here full of flavor and shining brightly? Or do you feel you're down in danger of losing your saltiness, hiding your light under a bushel? Maybe you're feeling salty enough and shining sometimes. Let's see it. Give me your level of saltiness. I'm looking. Okay, great. Honestly, it is easy to feel a little flat by what's going on out there. It does feel sometimes like the darkness is winning. Circumstances can make you feel small sometimes and disempowered because you're just one little person. But we're the light bearers. Keeping our saltiness is important so we can continue to shine. Yes, the challenge is to stay salty and shine. Think for a minute about what are the best ways to elevate your spirit. What do you do or listen to or where do you go to feed your spirit? We're going to elevate the vibration right now by telling those around you what you do to stay salty or divinely connected so you can shine. Start talking. Okay, 1, 2, 3, come back and eyes on me. All right, you said a lot of things. You've gotten good at getting salty. So let's hear some of them. Over in the choir, what's something someone does? Create? Fellowship. Be out in nature. Dance. How about from the congregation? What are some things you do to get your saltiness back up? Take classes. Garden. Say that again. Gratitude. Right, giving gratitudes up. Yes. You hug your dog, right? Our animals give us unconditional love and joy. Anybody else have some things? Volunteering is good. I also heard one I think is kind of important, which is sleep, right? You need that restoration. What are you going to say? Riding your bike. So a lot of people like to go out in nature. A lot of people like to do things. Some people like to take classes, to be quiet, to meditate, to play with their animals, right? Or to do what is inside of you, like create something. Be artistic. Let it flow. So we are salty. We are the God colors and the light bearers. We are ready to do what is ours to do to raise the vibration. As a unity community, we are already working on a utopia. Our current mission statement says we want the world to transform through spiritual awakening. What do you want that transformation to look like? Remember Simone Weil's definition of real good. It is always new, marvelous, and intoxicating. So what does a spiritually awakened, transformed society look like? I'm going to give you my view of the utopia. I think it is a place where we honor and celebrate all the gifts of the Spirit. I think it is a place where we honor and celebrate all the God-created diversity. I think it is a place where people are able to listen to one another with open hearts to find solutions to common problems. I think it is a place where imagination flows, new ideas flourish, and we encourage innovation. I think it is a place where equality, kindness, and civility reign. I think it is a place where we value one another. I think this is just the beginning of a spiritually transformed, God-colored world shining with love and joy. Does it sound a little goody-goody? It should. It is a utopia. And I'm going to keep holding that vision out for the highest and best. Today, you identified your God color and light bearer gifts to shine. You reminded yourself of how to keep your spirit connection with your saltiness, which in turn keeps those God colors and light-bearing gifts bright. I've started off to help us imagine the unity utopia of a spiritually transformed society. I think we are ready to become the place in town where the vibration is lifting because the God colors of each person here are shining. Unity of Prescott values and celebrates each and every raindrop that raises the sea. It is time to fill up the ocean. On your hill, on your lampstand, shine, shine, shine. Amen. I invite you to take a moment to get comfortable in your seat. You may close your eyes or look at a particular object in soft focus. Now take 3 deep breaths. 1 to quiet the mind, 1 to quiet the body, and on the last one, follow it all the way into your heart space. Here is your heart space. Breathe in the breath of God that makes all life holy. Breathe in your oneness with divine spirit. Breathe into oneness with all those around you. Perceive a ball of light emanating from your heart space and flowing through your entire body. This ball of light shines and flows with spiritual enlightenment. This light within you brings you illumination and shows you the next step in your journey. This light flows through you and beyond you to bring God's Spirit into the world. On this path of light flows love. Allow yourself to feel the divine love in you, all around you, and flowing from you. Release this light and let it go into the world to shine love and enlightenment to all. Take 3 deep breaths. 1 to come back from your heart space. 1 to come back to your body. one to engage your mind in the here and now. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes.